Sugar has corrected back towards 230 odd mark, and same is the case with the other names like Dharani Sugar, Awadh Sugar, etc. So my my sense is that these sugar stocks are getting into a correction zone for themselves. So it doesn't make sense to keep on buying the stocks when they're actually going down. Let these stocks give you a confirmation of a breakout on the upside. It's far more prudent to buy the stocks when they move up higher, because then you are with the flow and you are with the momentum. So, and given this kind of a market scenario, you can make a lot of quick money as well if you buy momentum stocks. So I would prefer not to add any further on the sugar stocks, at least as of now.
All right, so that's the view coming in on sugar stocks. So this one is coming in from Omkar, and he's saying that he's bought AVT Natural products at an average price of 87.6 rupees per share. And Kunal, he wants to know whether he should buy some more at this price.
I would suggest not. I think the stock has given 2 days of strong gap moves yesterday as well as today. Has been 2 strong days where the stock has opened up and shown some very good price performance. And prior to that, for at least the last 1.5 or 2 months, the stock had been absolutely sideways. So this could probably be more of a short-lived move. I would suggest to either book out profits or tail your stop losses.
Okay. Vikas, coming your way now, Aarti is asking from 2 very different sectors, from the auto space, or rather auto ank space. She's asking about Apollo Tyres, and she's also asking on the other side whether you would prefer Apollo Hospitals as a play for the next 2 to 3 years. Which of these 2 themes would you say is a better pick?
As far as Apollo Tyres is concerned, they came out with fantastic results for this quarter, and the stock has also gone up, and most of the auto component companies or companies catering to the auto sector are doing well, and I think they would continue to do well in the times to come. I think there's a lot of pent-up demand for automobiles, and with the chip shortage being taken care of, I think they should be doing well. So Apollo Tyres, I remain bullish on that. And as far as Apollo Hospital is concerned, that also, the stock is good, but recently we've seen some underperformance from this stock. But I think within the hospital space, this is the leading company in India, and I like the stock from a fundamental point of view. Although valuations look expensive, and one could look at declines to be buying into this stock. So I like both the stocks.
And staying with Apollo then, Kunal, APL Apollo Tubes is what Shailaja is asking about, whether she can buy it at current price.
Well, I think yes, APL Apollo I think had a fantastic uptrend. I think somewhere in mid of 2021, then the stock went a bit more sideways. Now I think it's coming back towards breaking past about its all-time high levels. If I'm not wrong, the all-time high for the stock is around 1130, 1135 for itself, and the stock I think is at 1092 level. So it's coming very close towards its all-time high levels. I would suggest that if you've already bought, you can continue to hold on. If you're looking to add, I think this could be a good zone where you can look to add further.
Okay, if Cheryl permits me, I'm going to take this question to both the experts, because a couple of questions on Tata Power. Vikas, first I'll come to you. This is from Everjoy Lamin, and he's saying he's disappointed with Tata Power, and he's wondering whether or not to sell this and move to something like an Adani Power. What's the view on the fundamentals?
I think he should stay with Tata Power. Although the stock is not done as well as Adani Power, but it's a great company, a great stock. And over the last few days, it's again started bouncing back. I think it's focused on renewable energy, and with 2 major leading investors, Mubadala and I think BlackRock, putting in close to 4,000 crores at a valuation of around 35 to 40,000 crores in their renewable energy business, where they are planning to expand or increase their capacity from the current 5 gigawatt to 20 gigawatt over the next 5 years, would augur well for the stock. So for long-term investors, I think Tata Power would be a better bet.
That's the view on the fundamentals. Gagan from Punjab has a question on Tata Powers on the technicals. And he's got August series 245 call at 4.85. Kunal, what should his strategy be from this point?
So I'm not sure of the exact current market price of this 245 call option, but then I would suggest that if possible, you roll it over to the September series, assuming if there is no major price difference, with respect to the options. Because my sense is that Tata Power is into a sweet uptrend, a very steady uptrend for itself, but then it's also a stock which goes into a very slow kind of an up move for itself. So, what could probably happen is, assuming if the stock remains at 245 to 250 range for the next, 1 to 2 weeks, you might see the August expiry or the stock getting into an August expiry closer to your cost price. So, the real potential could probably be unlocked if you hold on for the next series. I would suggest a shift from August series to the September series for the same strike and the same stock.
All right, this one is coming in from Mr. Balan and he wants to know what's the outlook on textile sector. He already has Vardhaman Textiles and ABFRL in the portfolio. So he wants to know, Vikas, whether he should hold these counters or buy some more, or do you have any other suggestion in the textile space or any other sector? Do you think it makes sense for Mr. Balan to stay put with his holdings in the textile space, as Vardhaman Textile and ABFRL?
Yes, Anil. First, I'm bullish on the sector. I like the sector. I'd recommended a number of stocks from these sectors at pretty low levels. I think with the world following the China plus one strategy, these textile companies are doing well. And furthermore, I think crisis in Sri Lanka, which is also a leading textile exporter, also helps Indian textile companies. And the two stocks which he has bought, ABFRL has been my recent favorite pick. And Vardhaman Textiles also is a great company. And apart from these two, I think one could even look at a KPR Mills, which I like, which has some sugar and ethanol story also with it. Then Gokuldas Exports also looks good. Then SP Apparel. There are a number of companies from the textile space which are doing really well. So I think one should stay put with these textile stocks and ride the bull run for the next 3 to 5 years.
Puneet has got a couple of stocks that he's asking about, but I'm only going to take one. And he's asking Vikas on Mobile Global, which he's bought at levels of 124.5. And he's wondering if you have a short-term target. I don't know if you look at the short-term prospects of stocks, but how do you see it maybe on the fundamentals then?
No, again, it's a good company. The stock has really done well over the last 2 to 3 years. And from its recent highs, it has corrected to levels where I think one should hold this onto. I think at the current levels, it makes sense to hold on to this company.
All right. This one is coming in from, I have a lot of queries actually pouring in all of a sudden. So this one is from Ramachandran V, and he wants to start adding into this counter that is known as Albert David to his portfolio, and he wants to hold on to this counter for the next 3 to 4 years, but he wants a fundamental view on this one. Because have you been able to track this one by any chance, Albert David?
Yeah, again, it's a company from the pharma space, a small-sized company, and if I do not remember incorrectly, they've some popular product by the name of which is made from human placenta. This company is known for that. I think it's a good company. Fundamentals look good. Valuations are also okay. So I think if one has to look at this stock from a 3 to 4 years perspective, I think it would make sense to stay invested in it. So I would maintain a buy at the current levels or add on every decline.
Two negatives make a positive. Vikas, you were trying to confuse me with that statement that you made. I'm sure you do not remember incorrectly. But let's talk about the next one. HDFC Bank call option 1,400 for the current series, and this is 10 lots. Denny from the UK has bought at 34. Kunal, what's the view?
Wow, I think 1,400, which means you're already in the money by a huge margin. The stock is already at 1,500 plus. So I would sense that the 1,400 call option should be, I think, at around 110, 112, kind of rupees. I'm not sure of the exact price, but that's where I believe the range should be for HDFC Bank. I think it's a good stock or a good strategy to hold on further from current levels, because if the market keeps on moving up hard and breaks past about those psychological resistances like 18K and 18.5 odd K over the very near term, there is bound to be a point where HDFC and HDFC Bank, they would start to get into the thick of strong outperformance. So you've already in the money. You can probably book out your initial capital and then hold on to your profits. I would sense that the stock should hit closer to 1550, 1560 range, possibly in the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay, Kunal, this one is from Sagar, and this one is for you, and I'll read his query as is. He's saying that he wants a view on Nifty, and he's also asking you, are you seeing call writers anywhere? Because I think they've forgotten their role. Instead of creating resistances, they are sponsoring the rally. Do you concur with this view?
Well, to a larger extent, call writers, they would continue to trade in the same behavior like what they have seen. What changes or what's more fungible, for call writers or for option writers to be more specific, is the quantity in which they write the call options. So it's a strategy. There are various number of strategies which plays out. The delta hedging. There are so many number of strategies which plays out when there is a call writing phenomena which happens. The only concern is that how much is the ratio between the call writers to the put writers. As of now, the skew and the bent is more towards put writers because of the added confidence the markets have shown and the lack of any kind of a negative news flow which is affecting the markets so far. So when the markets are into an extreme confidence zone, the put writers are at an extreme, and the call writers, they take a bit of a backseat for themselves. As of now, 18,000, 18,500, these are the two strikes where I'm seeing some sort of a call writing happening. But as I said earlier, that the extent of call writers is far lesser than what we've seen earlier, and the extent of put writers are much higher.
Which lends more credence to the point that you were making earlier on the show, that there is significant amount of bullishness right now in the equity markets. But let's move to Hiranba. And Vikas, this one's for you. We've got a question coming in from Jaikishan, and he's asking, he's bought at levels of 600. He's wondering whether to hold on.
Again, a good quality company, but the performance on the markets has not been good. Their quarterly results also have not been up to the mark, but I think this company should do well in the long term. Although the investor has bought it at a price which is, say, higher than the current market price, and he's sitting on some losses, but I think he should stay put with the stock, and I'm actually bullish on the agri-chemical space, and Hiranba also fits into that. So I think one can stay invested in stock at the current levels.
This was from Devi Das, Kunal, and Lalo Pal is the counter that she has bought at around 284 rupees per share. Wants to know what sort of a target can one look at for this counter for the period of about 3 to 6 months.
So I think 350-ish could be a good target which you can probably place for Lalo Pal. The stock is still below its 200-day moving average, and I think that's the only concern, because in the best of the market trends, a stock has been unable to lift off above its major resistances. So Lalo Pal, I would suggest a target closer to 350 for the time frame of 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Subha from Chennai is asking about GMM Fowdler and whether it can be accumulated at the current market price. Kunal, I'll come back to you on this one.
Well, looks attractive. In fact, last week or the week prior to that, I think end of July, the stock had seen a fantastic up move, rising up from 1380 levels to almost 1750 in a matter of 3-4 days. And post that, the stock has gone sideways. So GMM Fowdler, I think at current levels, looks to be very attractive. It's come back towards technically what we call it as a 50% retracement from those 1350 to 1750 levels. So a good level where you can look to start buying.
Okay, this one is from Abhijit, and he is wondering, is Nykaa looking good at current levels, or you are currently looking good at these levels for the short term? Kunal, will you be able to answer this one on Nykaa by any chance?
Well, it's not looking very attractive, frankly, because for the last 2-3 months, the stock has been absolutely sideways. I think 1390 or 1400 has been the flat line closing for Nykaa, and the stock has probably gyrated maybe 10-20 points from that 1400 levels for itself. So it's a stock which has lacked momentum, and you should probably not be looking out for buying these stocks in the anticipation of a breakout, because these are the kind of stocks which tests your patience if there is no kind of a move happening in the prices. So I believe it's far better to try and avoid the stocks, let the stock break past about certain technical levels, 1450, 1500 levels. That's where there would be a confirmation that the stock has broken out of this boring consolidation.
Boring consolidation. All right, I like those words. But gentlemen, on that note, we have to take a very quick break, and viewers, do stay with us. We'll be back on the other side to take more viewer queries, so do stay tuned.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है।
See, Nikunj, you are a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.